about to hear from Red River Resources, is a diversified Australian-based metal company producing at its Thalanga Operations in Queensland. It's a zinc, copper, lead with some gold and silver credits. The company has also acquired recently the Hillgrove antimony gold project in New South Wales, and is looking to bring that into to restart and bring that back into production. Today we have Mel Lanson, the MD of Red River, to present. Mel is a mining engineer by background, and previously, prior to Red River, was the Deputy Head of Operations at Gosawong, a Newcrest's very famous gold operation up in Sulawesi. Mel, welcome, and look forward to the presentation.
Thank you, Mark, and thanks for everyone to join in for the presentation. Looks really exciting times for Red River. It's been a while coming, but you know, all the planets are aligning, and you know, the fun factor is going up tenfold at Red River. So hopefully we can keep pushing this story. So picture there of Hillgrove, our gold mine in New South Wales, which is just about to commence production. Look, it's been a fantastic acquisition for us, and I think this is going to be another really long-term producer for Red River Resources. In terms of the corporate metrics, market cap's about $145 million. We've got no debt. As at the end of last quarter, we had $12.5 million in cash. The board and senior management has been very stable. We're just a bunch of operators, really. The addition there you see is Randy McMahon. He's joined as GM at Thalanga, taking over from Carl, who was there for 5 years, and Carl's got a new challenge at Hillgrove now, which is, you know, it's really good to give our people, you know, new opportunities and to grow the business. So just to sum up where we are, so Thalanga is 200 kilometres inland from Townsville and very close to Charters Towers. And then we've got Hillgrove, which is 200 kilometres inland from Coffs Harbour, very close to Armidale. Fantastic infrastructure, fantastic locations for residential mining in both those spots. And we've also picked up a project near HERBERTON, which if I get time, I'll talk about at the end. But importantly, our production, you can see quarter on quarter with Far West ramping up, our production has increased. In particular, the copper has kicked in for Red River, and you know, we're doing really well on the copper side now. So don't expect another 50% increase quarter on quarter. Really, the target now is to maintain our production out of Far West. And you know, the guys, the team on site with Pybo have done, you know, a lot of work at Far West to bring it up to speed, and now really the job is to maintain that production rate. From a cost point of view, you can see the blue line, the C1 has gone negative. You know, compared to say six or 8 months ago, we've seen, you know, commodity prices in copper and zinc, you know, increase, you know, significantly. You know, copper at $3.20 and zinc at $1.20 is just fantastic for our business. So, you know, if you want zinc and copper exposure and also silver, you know, Thalanga does produce 350,000 ounces of silver a year. That's been fantastic for the business. And you can see that performance is reflected in the EBITDA and the cash generation. So really the expectation is, you know, if we see, you know, good commodity prices, deliver good production from Thalanga, there's no reason why we won't see good cash coming out of the place. So just to summarise Thalanga itself, about 350,000 tonnes a year, really targeting 350 to 400. Look, it's a fantastic mine. Thalanga's been running for over 3 years continuously now. And, you know, I don't see any reason why this mine won't be, you know, going on for years and years. You can see there we've got a reserve of 1.2 million tonnes, which is, you know, about 4 years. But, you know, the resource of 6.7 million tonnes, in particular, you know, the 4 million tonnes of that is LIONTOWN. So we're really keen to see LIONTOWN coming into the production profile. The Far West Mine, as you can see, we've done a lot of development. The Pi Bar team, have really ratcheted up the jumbos, and for the last sort of 6 or 7 months, they've really been, hammering out the meters. So that's put us in a really good spot for production for the rest of this financial year. And really now we're going to be developing for next financial year. These are a couple of the development faces on the 620 level. You can just see that, there are parts of this ore body that are, really wide and just chock-a-block full of metal. These would have to be the two best base metal faces in Australia at the moment, with 48% and 33% equivalent. Just chock-a-block full of metal. So there are good bits in Far West, and really looking forward. We're currently permitting LIONTOWN. There's over 4 million tonnes of resource there at 12.7 equivalent, and 150,000 ounces of gold. And really, it was the drilling that we did, 12 months ago now, that changed the reflection of LIONTOWN. We've more than doubled the resource, but importantly, the grade has gone up by, around about 40%. So LIONTOWN is still open. We've only drilled it down to about 250 metres. So there's a lot more drilling to happen here. And we haven't drilled the western side yet. So, sometime next year, we will get the rigs back there and keep poking some holes and extending this thing. And I'm confident, this will be our biggest mineralising system. But really exciting times for Thalanga, because, it's doing well. Far West is firing on all 8 cylinders, and we've got LIONTOWN to come. So, excess mill capacity there. We need to take advantage of it. And, I also think that the basket of metals, we're in the right commodities, we're in the right spot, and Thalanga's firing on all 8 cylinders. So really, really good place to be. And that also underpins our growth. The other thing we've done at Thalanga is, in the last 6 months, Steve Harper and the team have scoured our tenements for gold. Obviously, the initial focus was on base metals, and we've got over 100 base metals targets there. But Steve and his team have also developed about 30 gold targets now. And before we get too ahead of ourselves, we need to start drilling some of these. So hopefully we can roll out a drilling program before Christmas around Thalanga to see what the gold potential is there. So Hillgrove, look, it's been just over a year since we got Hillgrove. Again, with anything that we buy, we do a very sort of thorough look at it, what went right, what went wrong. But I think for a $4 million acquisition, this thing's just an absolute cracker. And I think in the fullness of time, this thing's going to be a really, really, really solid addition to the Red River story. There's lots of gold here, and I guess from a strategy point of view, our focus is the gold. If we get antimony and we get tungsten with it, so be it. We'll make money out of that. But from a strategy point of view, it really is focusing on the gold. So the plant there, it's all there. It's all complete. We're just doing some refurb at the moment. We're just making some additions to the plant to make it better. And, for around about $5 million, we will start production, before Christmas. The resource there, we've also been updating from JORC 04 to JORC 12. Currently, we've got 5 million tonnes at 4.3 grams gold. There's nearly 700,000 ounces in JORC 12. There's another 400,000 ounces in JORC 04, which hopefully will convert in the coming months. So, in the fullness of time, we'll have over 1 million ounces here, and that's without, any discoveries. And some of you may already have seen, we've put out the results for Curry's. And look, pretty much every hole that we drilled out there hit gold, and it is high grade gold. So now we just need to vector in on the better parts and poke some more holes around the place. But very shallow intercepts and all pretty good grades. So for Hillgrove itself, the restart, what that looks like is the Bakers Creek stockpile is the first cab off the rank. It's 225,000 tonnes. Obviously, it's already been mined and sitting on the surface. and it's 2.5 grams gold. But importantly for us, it's free gold. So pretty much, recover 75 to 80% of the gold through the gravity circuits and then direct leach it into a doré. Can't think of a simpler, easier and cheaper way to restart Hillgrove. So that'll be the first 12 months. That'll also help us really push the plant and understand what the plant can do, because obviously with the resources that we've got, the plant, the 250,000 tonne per annum nameplate, we need that number to be nearly double. So we'll be pushing as hard as we can to see what that hardware can do, and if there's debottlenecking programs along the way, we'll do that and get the throughput up. So really, the small things that we're doing in the current phase is installing the gravity circuit. There'll be a leach reactor and for the gravity concentrate leaching. Secondary crusher is going to be installed, and again that'll give us a more horsepower and a bigger hammer up front with the throughput increasing. And the rest of it is really just refurbishment of pumps and tanks and things like that. There are no sort of major ticket items, and there hasn't been any surprises. So things are looking really well there, and Carl and the team are doing a great job. And then stage 2 is really going back underground at the Mets. So we've got 3 ore bodies there, Syndicate, Black Lode, Sunlight. There's over 400,000 ounces in those ore bodies. So really, Syndicate is fully developed. All the capital development and operating development is all in place. We don't even have to do a metre of development there. It's just about getting back in there and start stoping. And while we do that, we'll be developing Sunlight and Black Lodes. So again, I think the Mets mining area will be, providing, a base load for Hillgrove for many, many years to come. All the ore bodies there are open. We are looking at some drilling programs there early in the new year. And I'm confident that, this thing's going to deliver for years and years and years. So the other thing we're focusing on is Eleanora. So for those of you that haven't been to Hillgrove or seen it, the plant is actually sitting right here on the surface and right underneath the Eleanora ore body. But the old timers left a whole bunch of these pillars, and they're very large pillars in Eleanora. So we've been drilling those areas and really looking for an excuse to start developing Eleanora. The 400,000 ounces that are currently in JORC 04 will be converted to JORC 12, in the coming months. And this drilling that we're doing now will just add to that story. So really want to develop this as a second independent mining front at Hillgrove. So really, having two separate mines feeding the one plant will only be a good thing for Hillgrove, and will get us to the 50 to 60,000 ounces equivalent per annum. So yeah, really exciting times. Again here, every hole that we drill is at gold, just like Curry's. So really, it's just a matter of putting this all together and doing the drilling, doing the work, and just growing that resource base, day in, day out. But yeah, this is going to be a fantastic addition to Hillgrove. This is the Curry's block that we've just drilled. The results are up on the ASX now. Look, it did take a lot longer to get the assays than what we like, but they're in now. And look, the tungsten here is pretty significant as well. But again, the only reason really we're here is because of the gold. The gold grades look good. There are some wider zones that we'll be targeting in round 2 drilling. So to summarise Hillgrove, look, there's, to me, over 700,000 ounces has come out of the ground here. There's no reason why, we can't do that and more. Our focus is gold, and we will continue to look for more gold and develop for more gold and mine more gold here. It's been a fantastic acquisition for us. Nothing bad has come out of the woodwork in the last 12 months. And if anything, I think the Bakers Creek startup. Can't think of an easier, lower risk way to start up a mine. And that's going to be great for us. So then, you know, stage 2, we've got the Mets, and then hopefully stage 3, we've got Eleanora. And when we get there, we'll really ratchet it up. So Hillgrove's got a lot of prospectivity. There's over 200, you know, old mines that we have to chase up on our leases. And then, you know, we've got a very large exploration holding there as well. So I'm confident once we get going here and do what we do, you know, we'll keep going for many, many years. Look, I'll quickly talk about this HERBERTON project. Look, we picked this up, and it's just been a real big surprise for us how prospective it is. You know, there's lead, there's zinc, there's copper, and then this is also the highest grade INDIUM project in Australia. And INDIUM is main use is for solar panels, so it's not something that, you know, we're going to need more of. So it's a good place to be. But the one that really gets me excited is the silver. There's some cracking silver grades here. You know, the last work that was done here was over 30 years ago. So if we didn't have to deal with the wet season, I'd have a drill rig up there today. But you know, we don't want to see all our hard work get washed away. So I have to be patient. After the wet season next year, we'll have a drill rig up here to start poking some holes around and see what we can come up with. But there's just too many metals on the surface here for this not to be a significant play for us. So yeah, some real interesting stuff here. And also you can see on the left-hand side of this map, we've pegged all this ground here. So initially we pegged the Orient area and the Isabel area. After we've done the groundwork, we've seen the potential, so we've picked this big block over to the west of us. But yeah, really exciting times for our portfolio, and hopefully we can make something of this next year. Look, Red River, I think it's really poised to growth. I'm really happy. The growth side of the business has been the best it's ever been, and to be honest with you, the production side of the business has been the best it's ever been. So we're in a really, really good spot. You know, currently we've got Thalanga, we've got Far West. You know, over the next sort of 12 to 18 months, we're going to have, you know, Thalanga in operations, Hillgrove in operations, but also, you know, grow Thalanga, bring LIONTOWN on, and grow Hillgrove, you know, bring on the Mets, bring on Eleanora. So we're going to have multiple ore bodies with you know, a couple of operations. It's going to make the business much more robust. And I think, you know, base metals, you know, the bread and butter, copper, lead, zinc, and gold and silver is the right basket of metals to be in. And we're in Australia. So, and then, you know, we've got lots of chances with the drill bit. There's lots of targets, and I'm confident, you know, from an organic point of view, we'll have material additions to the business. So really, that's the story so far, and really exciting times ahead. Looking forward to delivering the Hillgrove project. So thank you.
Mel, thanks very much. It's great to see an Australian junior becoming a medium-sized producer, and it looks like you're kicking goals on all fronts, and you're going to soon be a multiple asset producing company. At Thalanga for Far West, it looks like, compared to perhaps the stoping from the historic stoping, you're planning on far more continuous ability to stope in the new mine plan and the new areas you're going into. Maybe just want to comment on that for me.
Yeah, sure. So we've still got some drilling to do at Far West. So the continuity to the west hasn't been closed off. So we want to do that drilling also around about Christmas time. We can drill through the wet season at Thalanga, so that's not an issue. But yeah, the longer ore drives, you know, once you get them in, you'll get a lot more continuous production and more reliable production. But to be honest with you, it's really the hard work that the mining team, you know, with PYBAR have done. They've put the capital development in and the operating development in to set us up. So yeah, looking forward to, you know, a long mine life there, and it's also open at depth. So, you know, I'm confident we'll discover more at depth once we get down there with the underground rig.
Very good. And moving to Hillgrove, Mel, you're the 5 million to restart. On top of that, what's your sort of, I know it's pretty, probably haven't got the numbers yet, but to go from the current rate up to from 250 to 500,000 tonnes per annum throughput, how much capital on top of the 5 do you think you're going to need to get to that sort of level?
I actually don't know the answer to that question yet, because we've never run the plant, but we are putting in a secondary crusher, and that's going to give us a lot more horsepower up front and take a load off the mill. So that will maybe get us to 350, 400, and then we might do some more debottlenecking to get to 500. So to me, I can't answer that question, but one thing I can tell you, I'm not going to go out and spend hundreds of millions of dollars on this thing. We'll use our experience and our nous and make small changes that have big impacts.
Exploration going forward, what's your sort of forecast for spend over the next 1 to 2 years?
Yeah, sure. So really comes down to our cash flow. I think, once the cash from Hillgrove kicks in, I think, we will ratchet it up again. Currently, there's 1 rig at Hillgrove. There's a rig coming to Thalanga as we speak. And then in the new year, I can see us having another rig at Hillgrove and another rig at Thalanga. So perhaps, $2 to $3 million at each site would be a good starting point.
I think that's all for questions that we have for you today, Mel. Thanks very much. Thank you very much for Red River. Great to see.
Great. Thanks, everyone.